what's up? It's Breyonna. So today we're going to be doing another look using the Blend Body Cosmetics Dollhouse Palette. Now I recently reviewed this and I really enjoyed it, but I asked you guys in that video like what kind of look you would like to see, and in particular like which column, because apparently this palette is designed to use by column or by like any quad you want to make, which I think is really cool too. But a lot of you guys wanted to see the column, and especially this green one right here, which, oh my gosh, like I was so excited when you guys wanted to see that because I am a sucker for green. But if you'd like to see another one, just like let me know which column you'd like to see, like either from this shade up here or like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just let me know what one in the comments down below. Because honestly, I really want to play around with this palette a lot more because I just feel like it has a very unique vibe, unlike a lot of my neutral palettes in my collection. So as per usual, I'm just going to prime my eyes using my ABH eye primer. I was going to use my Colourpop one today, but I can't find it. I don't know where it went. So we're just going to go in with the tried and true. So I just popped a little bit on the back of my hand, and now I'm just going to apply it literally like all over my lid up to my brow. Like, you want to just cover like the whole like area you want to put shadow. So now we got these puppies primed, but the first shade I want to go in with is this one right here called Porcelain. And I'm a little bit scared of this one because you can see like it's almost the same shade as my skin tone. Again, I'm not too sure if it's going to oxidize when applied, but this shade is like super light. Oh yeah, like this is a really light shade, but I'm just going to be taking it on this Anastasia A25 and applying it in my crease. Like, I see something, but it's very, very light. But I will say it is applying almost like slightly more orange than it looks in the pan. Like, it kind of has like just a little bit of warmth to it. And let's go in with a second layer. Now, I like to usually think of shades like this as like something to blend into. So if you have a problem like blending out your edges, you know, putting a shade that's very close to your skin tone down first and then buffing into that can really help with that. And that's kind of what I want to do with this one. Honestly, like if you're doing like an all matte look, I feel like this would be super pretty on the lid or even as like a matte inner corner highlight. It is so light on me, but it's going to be, I guess, kind of like a transition shade for us today. I couldn't think of the word until now. But the next shade we're going to go in with is the green matte on the palette, and this one's called Figure. And again, it's kind of like a mid-tone, like olivey green kind of situation. Ooh, this is one of those like pukey kind of greens, but you guys know like I am so into. Like those are some of like my favorite greens in my collection. But I'm just going to be taking it on this pinch blending brush from Morphe. This is an M433, and since it's pinch, I'm going to be taking it the long way. And I'm just going to be popping this in my crease, and ooh, that pigment right away. But this is definitely kind of like one of those greens that has like a yellowy brown base to it. And it's blending into that porcelain shade just effortlessly. I mean, just look at that. Like on the first layer, it looks really nice. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit more. Again, I'm taking the brush the long way. One thing I've noticed with Blend Bunny is that the masks just blend out super easy. Like you don't have to really put a lot of effort into them because, you know, sometimes you really have to layer up shades, you really have to like blend them out in circles. But with this formula, like you don't really have to do a whole lot. Like it kind of like blends itself out for you. And that's something I've noticed with like higher quality eyeshadow formulas, is that they do the work for you and you don't have to kind of like worry about it. But I'm just going to go in again with a third layer. And you know what, I'm actually going to kind of like blow this shade out a little bit further than I was expecting. But you can see like even like the edge, like it doesn't look like chunky or weird. You know, it doesn't look splotchy. It is super smooth. And I don't feel like I have to go in with like another brush to like help blend it out. Like it's just like right where I want it to be. So now let's define the crease. So we're going to go in with the darkest shade out of this column, and it's called Madame. I think it's Madame. I don't know why I always want to say Madame. Like I know it's wrong, but I'm not fancy enough to say Madame. But this shade is like a cool tone espresso brown, which is like a slight like greenish tinge to it. Like it's a very subtle amount of green. It's like one of those like cool tone browns that goes really well with green, if you know what I mean. But I'm just going to be taking this shade on this Morphe M507. It's a really small little blending brush. It's one of my favorites in my collection. But I'm just going to be, again, popping that in my crease and then blending it upwards. Ooh. Now I will say, like right off the bat, it's not like super intense right away. Now I am going to go in with a second layer. But you see what I mean? Like the first layer, she's cute, but like the second layer looks way more like it does in the pan. For some odd reason, like the deeper shades I have used so far in this palette, the Cinch shade, that darker purple, and this one, like they look good in the crease, but it can get a little bit weird. Like you see what I mean? Like it's not like a perfect blend. Like it's not bad, but it's not like perfect. So I'm gonna go in with a third layer. And I'm just blending this upwards again. But you see what I mean? Like the shade is super buildable. And to help get rid of like this chunkiness I have going on from me blending and talking, I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more of Figure on that brush that we applied it with. And I'm going right over the edge. And then I'm just gonna go back in that brush that we applied Madame with, no additional, and fluff out the edges. And you can see, like, it's not terrible, but it's giving me a little bit of chunkiness, like right in here and over in here. It just looks a little bit uneven. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit more on my brush again. First pop it in the crease because that's where I want it to be the deepest. And then blend it upwards. Again, it's a very beautiful shade, but it's kind of like one of those ones you kind of have to work with a little bit to get a like full on smooth blend. And you can see like when I tilt my head up, you see it's just a little bit uneven right in here and then over in here. But it is an easy fix, you just have to kind of play around with it. So I kind of want to do like a full cut crease today, like a full out like winged one, and I'm just going to go in with my ABHI primer on the back of my hand. And the brush I'm going to first use is this Sigma E10. It's just like a fine little liner brush. I don't know, I just kind of want to do a like winged out one. I think it'd be really cool with this shape and also with the lid shades we're going to be using here in a second. But what I'm going to do is look directly into my mirror and go slightly above my natural crease following that shape. And then to do the winged out part, I'm just going right underneath my brow bone. You can feel it with your finger. If you touch right here, you can feel the kind of like dip it has. I'm going right underneath of that. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more on this Anastasia number 18, which is the brush I used to apply my eye primer with. Because I mean, like, why would you dirty more brushes than you have to? I don't know about you, but I hate washing brushes. But I'm just going to be filling in everything underneath that line. And also, less is more is the approach with this. Because if you apply too much product, it's just going to layer up really weird. And also, if it gets a little bit weird underneath of this line right here, don't worry about it because we're doing eyes first for a reason. So I let this marinate on the eyes for a little bit, probably like 10 minutes or so, you know, just to make sure everything's nice and dry and ready to get eyeshadow on top. And for the shimmers though on the lid, I really want to use this Chantilly shade first. And this is the deepest green out of the two. You have no idea how hard it is for me to resist right now to put this baby pink kind of like rose gold shade called Little Sister in between Chantilly. Like, oh my god, like I think that would be like the prettiest combination, but I can't do it because we're only using the olive row today. But if you try it, please tag me because I bet it would look amazing. But I'm just going to be taking this shade Dry on a little shader brush. I'm just packing it down. You know, I don't know how I feel about this shimmer. Like, it's pretty, but I expected it to have more like pizzazz to it right away. So we're gonna go in with a second layer right away. Oh yeah, like this one, I feel like once I got that top layer off, it acted way better. And I'm bringing it probably like a third the way in on my lid. And honestly, again, like do not worry how far down you bring it right here. Just take a little bit of makeup remover on a wipe or something, or like a cotton round. Then you can just clean it up. But to me, this shimmer right here is more like a wet sheen kind. It's not like super like crazy intense. It's a little bit on the softer side. And I don't know if you can see like on my brush, but it doesn't like pick up as much as I'm used to. So I'm just going to apply this now in the inner third. But you see what I mean? Like it's very like subtle. And then we're gonna go in with a second layer. Like the first layer is cute, but the second layer is definitely where you get a little bit more poppin' looking. Now, I don't know how to explain it, but this green shimmer, like it almost looks uneven even though it's not. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't have a lot of base pigment to it, but you can see like it just kind of looks a little bit like weird in certain areas. Could be my lighting in here. I'm not exactly sure. But I'm just taking more of my brush, but you see what I mean? Like it just has like a weird, it almost looks like patchy when I tilt my head in certain ways, even though it's technically not. Now for the center, I'm just gonna go in with this like goldish green. Like it's gold with like a little bit of like a green tinge to it, and it's called Pin Curls. Ooh, that looks really creamy. But I'm just gonna use a different shader brush and pop it right in the center. And this one has way better of a formula than that green. Like this one's like extra poppin', more creamy, and I feel like it's just more pigmented right off the bat too. But honestly, like that brought this look to where I was hoping it would be more. For some odd reason, like this eye, to me, it just looks a little bit meh, like a little bit bland. But that gold in the center really like pizzazzed it up. Now I am gonna go in with just a little bit more in the center. And again, I'm applying this dry, not damp. So off camera, I just apply like my base as well as some liner and lashes. And I'll be honest, at first, like before I got all this on, you know, I really wasn't fully feeling the look. Like I felt like there's like something off about it, and like it's almost like missing something, or like, you know, just in general, like the colors don't really work well together, or if I needed to add like a liner accent or something. But you know, after I got like the liner and lashes on, I feel like it really just kind of like brought it together in a way, and I don't feel like I need something now. Like before, I almost applied like one of these liquid liners I have. I almost did the yellow one, or like a baby pink, but I'm really happy that I just left it. Sometimes it's just better to leave something if you're not 100% sure and then add to it later after you get a couple more steps applied, if you get what I mean. But now we're gonna do the lower lash line, and I'm just gonna honestly mirror what we did in the crease. So I'm first just gonna go in with Madame on this little brush from Colourpop. Honestly, I feel like the deeper shades in this palette act better when they're packed down rather than when they're blended, like how I do my method, like the light to dark. I feel like if you pack and blend, they apply way more pigmented right away. And now I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of Figure on this ES6 from Profusion. So for the inner corner highlight, you could go in with Pin Curls, but I just want something a little bit different, so I'm going to go in with this Tulle shade right next to it, and it's kind of like a pinkier kind of shade in a way, but it also almost has like a little bit of like a gold reflect. It's kind of like a rose gold, almost. But I'm just going to be taking it on this brush from Anastasia. It's an A14, it's just a little pencil brush. And on the first layer, honestly, like I don't feel like it's super pigmented. But let's see once I get like this first layer off of the shade in the pan if it acts better. So here's the second layer. Oh yeah, like the second layer is like 10 times better. Like I feel like some of these shades, like you just have to get like the first layer off, like just even like barely touching it, and then it acts like 10 times better. So after using this palette twice, I have noticed a couple of things. So first, right off the bat, I've noticed I'm having more problems with the deeper mattes in here, and they're the ones that are giving me the harsh lines and the chunkiness, and they can be just a little bit trickier to blend out. So if you're a beginner, you might struggle with them. But again, they're like one of those things where I can kind of like finesse it and get it to where I want it to be. It just takes me a hot minute to do so. So I'm like having to layer it up a little bit more, go back and forth in between colors. But again, I can get that seamless blend I want. It's just taking me a little bit longer to do so. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to sit there and finesse your shadows and you just want to pop it down, do a couple circles, and go on your way, you're probably not going to like the deeper mattes in here, especially if you're like me and you do the light to dark method. Now, one thing I have noticed though, today especially, is that darker shade that we used, I think it's called Madame. I want to say Madame for some reason. But that one underneath the eye is a lot more rich and pigmented when pressed down rather than how I applied it into my crease. And again, it didn't give me any like chunkiness underneath the eye too. However, this Cinch shade that I use in my other look, this darker purple shade, now this one still looked kind of chunky underneath the eye, especially when I buffed out the edge. So it seems like it's kind of like hit and miss depending on the shade with that. But again, I kind of want to try this palette doing the dark to light method, so let me know if you'd like to see that. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this look. And again, let me know if you'd like to see more looks using this palette. But before you go though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!